Acosta egg on White House reporters to scream at Sarah. She immediately makes him regret it, by Rebecca DeCirio, Politics US News for MadWorldNews.com. CNN's Jim Acosta played the role of schoolyard bully, egging on the other White House correspondents to attack Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders. During a regular press briefing, everything was fine until two other male reporters started shouting at Sanders, and Acosta backed them up. Well, Sarah took control and immediately made Acosta and his cohorts regret it. Sarah Sanders, as press secretary, probably has one of the toughest jobs in the Trump administration. Daily, she is on live TV as an entire room of combative so-called journalists who hate her and the president attempt to make her look like a fool. They hate her because they never win, and the only topic on their minds is the bogus Russian collusion case. Remember, they still haven't figured it out that it was Hillary Clinton who was colluding with the Russians, not President Trump. They still go with that. During the press briefing in question, one hostile reporter asked about how President Trump can differentiate between what he calls fake news and Russian disinformation campaigns. The purpose of this question was to trap Sanders into admitting that Russians and their mysterious, quote, Russian bots spread so much disinformation during the 2016 campaign that Hillary Clinton lost. Then they can all scream that Trump was part of that disinformation campaign, of course. Well, sorry for the idiot reporter who asked this question, but Sanders was well prepared to throw it right back on the press corps. Sarah ignored the ridiculous question, answering, look, we've seen it, fake news, time and time again, and a number of outlets have had to retract and change their stories and their editors' notes. This is a big problem, and we think you should take that seriously. What Sanders did was place the blame of disinformation on the real sources, those journalists and their cohorts sitting right in that press room. The press secretary is doing what she does best, truth-telling. She's not buying into the leftist Democratic narrative that Russian bots controlled by Trump caused Hillary Clinton to lose the election. Could it be she was just a corrupt individual and people woke up to her shenanigans? But the losers in the press corps were not finished. They were just getting started. CNN's Jim Acosta had a pipe in as Sarah was talking because he can't stand that she refuses to go along with their lies about this Russian conspiracy. It's almost laughable at this point. Come on, Sarah, when journalists make their honest mistakes, started Acosta, who was immediately interrupted by Sanders, cutting him off so fast it made his head spin. Well, when journalists, let's just take a listen here. In a heated exchange with reporters, White House press secretary...
The president reacted quite angrily over the weekend to a Washington Post reporter's tweet about crowd size that was quickly deleted. I'm wondering if you could help explain the discrepancy between the president's reaction to incidents like this, which he calls fake news, and talks quite a bit about, and his silence on actual disinformation campaigns like Russia ran during the 2016 election to deliberately spread false information.
Look, the president's simply calling out a very direct and false accusation lodged against him. There was nothing more than an individual trying to put their bias into their reporting, and something that frankly has gotten a little bit out of control. We've seen it time and time again over the last couple of weeks. A number of outlets have had to retract and change and rewrite and make editor's notes to a number of different stories, some of them with major impacts, including moving markets. This is a big problem, and we think it's something that should be taken seriously.
I would just say, Sarah, that journalists make honest mistakes, and that doesn't make them fake news. But the question that
when journalists make honest mistakes, they should own up to them. Sometimes, and a lot of times you don't. But there's a difference. There's a very big... I'm sorry, I'm not finished. There's a very big difference between making honest mistakes and purposefully misleading the American people, something that happens regularly. You can't say, I'm not done. You cannot say, that it's an honest mistake when you're purposely putting out information that you know to be false, or when you're taking information that hasn't been validated, that hasn't been offered any credibility, and that has been continually denied by a number of people, including people with direct knowledge of an instance. This is something that I'm speaking about the number of reports that have taken place over the last couple of weeks. I'm simply stating that there should be a certain level of responsibility in that process.
This was not,
Brian, hold on, Jim.
This is not the line of questioning that I was going down, but can you cite a specific story that you say is intentionally false, that was intentionally put out there to mislead the American people?
Sure, the ABC report by Brian Ross, I think that was pretty misleading to the American people, and I think that it's very telling that that individual had to be suspended because of that reporting. I think that shows that the network took it seriously and recognized that it was a problem. Jim?
Yeah. In a heated exchange with reporters, you saw what she did. CNN corrected a major error when they had to correct the date in an erroneous report claiming that Donald Trump Jr. in advance had knowledge of WikiLeaks document. You remember that, with the dates that Adam Schiff went and he got out of the meeting there when they were interviewing Donald Trump Jr., and he spread that false narrative to the press, and he got caught as the leaker. So we love Sarah Sanders for the exact same reason those fake news reporters hate her. She stands up to the leftist bully, tells the truth, and refuses to ever back down. Absolutely. How we caught Adam Schiff, unbelievable, unbelievable with that date with the WikiLeaks, right? I know you can't help but spread fake news at CNN, but now that you know the truth, you should have the decency to retract the false story, make the correction, take down the BS tweet, and apologize to the 2 or 3 people that still believe you to be credible. But you know, they're always looking for some excuse to talk about Russian collusion with Donald Trump when we know the real collusion was with Hillary. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.